Hello, I'm Greg Ruby for Acoustic Guitar Magazine. This is part 2 in the Chord-Melody series. Today we're going to be looking at the 1918 classic, The World is Waiting for the Sunrise. Let's jump right in. So the first chord you probably learned on the guitar is a C chord. If we spell that C chord out all across the guitar, we're going to be able to find a lot of voicings that are really going to help us not only in The World is Waiting for the Sunrise, but also just a lot of cool voicings that we may have overlooked. So we're going to start with the notes of C. So C, E, G, C, E. We're going to spell those up and down each string. So let's start with the first string. We have E to G to C to E. So that's open, 3rd fret, 8th fret, and 12th fret. On the second string, we have C, E, G, and C. And that's the 1st fret, the 5th fret, the 8th fret, and the 13th fret. On the third string, we have G to C to E to G. Open, 5th fret, 9th fret, 12th fret. On the D string, we have E to G to C to E. That's on the 2nd fret, the 5th fret, the 10th fret, and the 14th fret. On the A string, we have C to E to G to C. On the 3rd fret, the 7th fret, the 10th fret, and the 15th fret. On the low E string, we have open E to G to C to E. Open, 3rd fret, 8th fret, and 12th fret. So this is going to help us be able to see and visualize. It's useful to write all these notes down on a chord diagram as you piece these together, because then you're going to be able to put together some interesting voicings. You can just take any 3 notes of the C chord, C, E, and G, and find some different clusters and spacing for them on the guitar. So in example 2, as you're creating interesting rhythm voicings, you could have G, C, and E to make a C chord. You could do the same thing and make the reach a little further, but open the chord up a little bit. You have G, E, and C. Still a C triad, but a little more of an overlooked voicing there. I love using this chord a lot when going between a C and a G7. Other ones you can find, a C with a C/E, spelled E, C, G. And you can finger that either 2, 1, 3 or 3, 1, 4. You can also find that same voicing over on the next string group, E, C, G. So then we're going to go over to strings 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to play the notes of the C chord. In this case, it'll be a G, a C, and an E. And when placing those and playing them as such, that highest note of the chord, the E, becomes the melody note with the chord below it for our chord melody voicings. So we have G, C, and E, and then if we take that up to the next 3 notes, we have C, E, and G. The next 3, E, G, and C, and then G, C, and E. So already you can start to hear the melody on these. we're going to do the same thing now on the next strings over strings 2, 3, and 4. Here we have notes of the C chord with the E, the G, and the C. E, G, C. Spelled across. Going up the neck on that same string group, G, C, and E. Going up the neck on that same string group, C, E, and G. And then going up again, we have E, G, and C. Now, let's put those into action in the song, The World is Waiting for the Sunrise. Example 5. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. All right, let's take a look at that song a little more in depth here. So it's starting off with a G7 sharp 5 chord, or sometimes known as a G augmented chord, or G7 augmented. So if we start with our G7 and our note of D over here on the B string, if we raise that up 1 fret, that's going to make it the sharp 5. So we would have... There we're going to go to our very familiar C chord. We're going to hold that chord down and then add in the note G to that chord. So with our pinky. And then we're going to hold the pinky to the fretboard, or to the string rather, and bring it up to the 5th fret. And it's kind of functioning like a lead dancer here. It's bringing the hand up and the other fingers are organizing around that the pinky arriving at the 5th fret. So it helps keep the hand in order. So then we're going to release the hand, just play the note G with our first finger, and then lift it up and bring it over to the 5th fret on the strings 2, 3, and 4, making a little bar. Maybe you've played a bar like this at the 2nd fret for an A chord. Very similar. No open strings, just those 3. To really bring out the melody note on the B string, we're going to use the rest stroke by striking through the strings and landing on that high E string to create the rest stroke, which really helps keep energy going into the guitar so that that melody note can sing out above there. So we have C with the E, and then we're going to go up to our next inversion, C with the G, and then we're going to go over C with the A note, making it technically an A6, and then up to a C with the C. So melodically speaking, are our notes with the C chord beneath it. And then we're heading to the way up to the 12th fret to get that E note with a E7, and then followed by an E7 with the note D as the melody note. So using an inversion to get that. If you're not able to reach up to this chord, it really depends on where the body of your guitar meets the neck. If it's at the 12th fret, definitely going to have some difficulty getting there. If you have a cutaway, it's going to make it a lot easier. At the 14th fret, it's still a bit of a stretch to get in there. So if you don't like that voicing, you can always play it this way with your first finger barring across at the 9th, pinky up on the 12th. And then very easy reach coming into the E7 with the D is the melody note. So all that together. That was with the alternate fingering, or now here we're going to an F major chord, F major triad. Now this one here, it may look familiar. If we go back to our good old C chord from where all this is starting, and we were to play it without our first finger, and move that pinky up to the note F, and keep that shape the same, and bar across so that it would be an F chord. That's where that shape is coming from. But we're going to release our pinky because it has other work to do over here on the high E string, on the first string, going between the note C and A. So the melody is going while this F chord is underneath. So with this shape here, we're able to reach those. I encourage you to use an upstroke when the pinky comes off for that A note. So, and then we're going to our C chord, followed by a G minor. This is the note B flat, D, and G here. Looks like a little D7 shape way up here. And we're going to hold our ring finger to that note G as fingers 1 and 2 move down 1 fret. So G minor, A7 to another A7. So that in sequence, C, G minor, A7, A7. That's a great little transition to practice. Kind of isolate that part and turn it into an etude. Turn it into, before you start the song, play it through 5 times just to get that part comfortable. And this is one of the more busier parts and technically challenging parts of the song. So from there, we're going to this D9. We're barring our ring finger across the 2 strings to get that melody note of E. And then we're going to release the chord. Our first finger is going to go down and get the note D. And then when we come back, we're going to finger this chord so that our ring finger is all the way across strings 1, 2, and 3. But we're only going to strum that chord through the second string, the B string, and let our pick land and rest on the first string. Really bringing that melody note of the B string, making it prominent, and waiting, and then releasing to get that A note. So with very little extra motion in the right hand. So that sequence together. And then we're going to our G7 to our G7 sharp 5. And then we're back at the repeat. C chord, add the pinky slides up to the G7 with the sharp 5 and 9. Going through many inversions of the C chord with different melody notes. E7 with the E in the melody, to the E7 with the D in the melody, F chord. This great little sequence, G minor, A7, A7, and then after that we are going to a F minor chord, which has an A flat, a C, and an F. Again, it looks like a little D7 shape, but this time with our first finger at the 5th fret, and then to our G7, just a 3-note G7, 1, 3, 2, again looking like a D major shape, and then finishing that off with a C chord with the C as the melody note. Have a great time practicing. Be sure and work on all the inversions up and down the fretboard. It's really going to help not only connect the dots of the fretboard, expand your understanding, but really give you a lot of the voicings to work with chord melody playing. Have a great time doing it. Practice slow, practice often, and have a great time while doing it. This is Greg Ruby for Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Thank you for listening.